gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and we're just going to jump right into this because I'm suddenly seeing this narrative being built about people leaving Cardano. I'm going to show you in this video why that's a bunch of bunk. Here's the thing. There has been an ongoing there's been kind of an ongoing battle. I don't even want to call it a war, but there's been like an ongoing battle between Ethereum and Solana, and then like every shitcoin in the market in Cardano. Okay, from everything I've seen over the years, I've seen paid articles that maybe don't come out right out and say that they're paid. Where they're trying to create this narrative that one particular blockchain is equivalent to, maybe better, maybe not, than a Cardano. I've seen obvious paid campaigns of people on Twitter with bots. I've seen lots of bots, all kinds of stuff. Let's put it this way. I've seen all sorts. I've seen it all over the years as people and groups, whether they're investment groups, venture capital groups, or just bag holders, try to create a slew of false narratives around Cardano. And I still see it today, and it blows my mind. Why does it happen? Because people are stupid. I mean, part of it is just generally that. People are stupid. There are a lot of people who are very either new to the crypto space. They don't have the time to look into things. They don't have time to cross-reference anything. They just, they see somebody say something, and especially if they could see it more than once, then they start to believe it. It's like, you know, lies become truth the more often they're told, something to that effect, right? That's basically like an old propaganda thing. That might have been a CIA quote for some. I don't remember where that comes from. But if we look at the numbers, we can see that this whole thing is garbage. It's bunk. I mean, just like just about everything else that's been said. Since the beginning, we've heard everything from Cardano's a ghost chain, Cardano's vaporware. I just saw someone in my comments recently say, you just explained how Cardano's a ghost chain. I'm sorry, but a ghost chain does not have 187 million Cardano or 187 million dollars, whatever it is. I'm going to pull it up in total value locked. And even that is a misleading number because that's not counting all of the staked Cardano that is delegated to pools. That's just what's locked up in being used on DeFi protocols. That's it. And that number hasn't dropped. It's this endless sea of garbage related to Cardano. Why do they do this? Well, number one, because Cardano does, as Charles said himself, Cardano doesn't have Ponzonomics. It's not designed and it's not structured. Its tokenomics are not set up so that venture capitalist groups can come in, buy it on the cheap, and dump it on the heads of everyone else. The price doesn't move that fast. I mean, it could, but ultimately the price of it just doesn't move that fast. And it was never structured in a way to let a bunch of wealthy people in first to then play games with the ebbs and flows with the public. If they want to play games with people, they have to do it like every other coin on the market, basically. There was no getting in at, you know, a fraction of a penny and then, you know, just dumping it on people. You know, I continue seeing a lot of this stuff, and it does frustrate me a little because people put personal interests, and we see this across all narratives today. Even people putting personal interests, personal feelings ahead of the reality of whatever the situation might be. Listen, you know, when it comes to Charles, you know, I respect Charles fully, but I have multiple times sent him, punched up long Telegram messages to him that I was angry about something, and then I just deleted them. Okay, Charles is no angel. None of us are, and I have been frustrated with Charles about random things over the years. I've stated some of those things to him. But I still respect him. I don't have to agree with everything he says. I don't have to agree with everything he does. And I don't want to sound too much like Dan's video that I saw recently. But he's right. There are things like, I think Project Catalyst to me is garbage. I mean, if I'm just blunt about it, I think the system for Project Catalyst, it means well, and on paper it probably looks great, but effectively, I just think it's bunk. I think that too many people are gaming the system to get funding for shit projects that probably shouldn't be getting funding. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. But that's also kind of the nature of decentralized governance in a way. It's letting the people, choose what they want. And honestly, some of that is up to, who holds the most data. They get kind of more of a say because they have more voting power, sort of thing. I think that there are ways that Project Catalyst could be fixed. I think ultimately it should be, there should be a governing body, a physical governing body, I think, that is manually researching projects and teams and then basically picking the top of that tier and then picking where the funding goes. I would personally like to see Emergo building more concrete partnerships, public partnerships, marketing partnerships, things like that. I would like to see some of this money be going into marketing of the blockchain, rather than just kind of like, planting the seed and then watching it grow based off of the tech alone, because this blockchain is far superior to the vast majority of blockchains out there, but it needs it needs somebody more than Charles, honestly, out there putting that message out. And I know that many of us YouTubers now are talking about Cardano on a regular basis, and that's all wonderful, but I want to see more. I would like to see more, brick and mortar type support. I would just like to see more of the negative narratives being combated by more than just Charles on an AMA. But we can't make those decisions, and that is absolutely nothing against Charles. I've had my little tiffs, my little moments with Charles. It's just the nature of anything, really. But it doesn't dictate my interest in Cardano. That's just really all there is to it. I'm into Cardano not because of Charles. I've never been into Cardano because of Charles, to be frank. I've always respected him and I've admired what he's been able to accomplish at such a young age. Mind you, the dude's only 33. Okay, he's young. Okay. And so, I think some people look at him and they expect him to act like a 60-year-old wise billionaire. And he's not that old, folks. He's a very brilliant, very, very educated, very well-intended dude. He's young. It's crazy for me to say that about someone like Charles, but he is young. And, sometimes I think he shares his opinions very, very loosely in a public space that, especially now, is wrought with political interest more than realistic interest. And to some degree, I think that kind of shoots him in the foot sometimes, because there are a lot of people that aren't going to agree with Charles. And it doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. It doesn't matter if he's more educated than them, or none of that really matters. People are triggered by emotional triggers nowadays in very, very, very big ways. I see it on my own Twitter. I think it's funny. I laugh all the time. And it's just like, I hate to be that way, but they make it impossible to not kind of chuckle anytime one of them gets triggered by something stupid. And it's just like, but we can't control that. That's just the nature of the world we're in today. And we are so completely divided on multiple fronts anymore. It's not anymore just like a right versus left kind of thing. The division continues to grow little by little by little each and every day. And it honestly, it scares me and it disgusts me in a lot of ways. And the problem is that so many people feel so entitled to their emotional conviction on things that just aren't true. But when you believe something so deeply and so much, and it affects you in such an emotional way, and you've already set your emotional mind on an opinion of a particular topic, it's almost impossible for that to be swayed. It's almost like somebody who, you think something happened, right? You think maybe your spouse did something. Maybe you think they're cheating on you, and you're enraged and you're mad and you're frustrated and she or he could tell you, a friend could say something, oh, that didn't happen, you know better, you don't care, you're not hearing it because you've already made up your mind based off of maybe something you saw, something you read, something you witnessed, whatever. And that's how I feel like a lot of people are politically today. And I think that some of this division in Cardano is created by some of the openness of Charles to some degree. Okay. But I also think that, these narratives, and I'm honestly, even at that, I think that even that is a weak argument because I just don't see it. Let's look at these numbers real quick, okay? Because I just want to dive into this. Make sure you follow Crow's Nest on YouTube. This is my wife and I's channel. We put out a few videos. We're working on some more stuff. I think we're going to start doing interviews. We're up to 536 subscribers. That's cool. But I would definitely like to see this jump over 1,000 soon. And, we've got shorts and things, and you're going to learn a lot from this channel, so make sure you subscribe. So right now, looking at Cardano, what are we seeing? Oh, we're seeing another price dip. Oh, goodness. I'm pretty sure I said that was going to happen. And, and it's still not even in the grand scheme of things. If we look at, my Bitcoin projection, we're going to look at that in just a second. But, this is these are 15-minute candles here. We've been all over the place. Okay. Some of that money has come back into Bitcoin. We got a little trigger here for it to rise up, and we've been more or less ranging with a little bit of downside. But listen, it's 27.5. It's still higher than it was just a couple weeks ago, or even a week ago. And then if we look at this on the grand chart, we're ranging. Okay. This is a daily chart here. I expected us to be much lower than this already, and we haven't. We actually went up, we came back down a little bit, and then we're ranging. And this is over a period of multiple days. People are freaking out. But when we're ranging like this, sometimes we're going to start seeing price action move down. But you know what, folks? We've dipped below 25 cents not very often. These are daily candles here. Back here on September 11th, okay, we dropped down to 23 cents. Back here on August 17th, we dropped down to about 23 cents. We're still higher than all of that. We're still sitting at 25 cents, okay? So price action, moot point. Nothing, it's not bothering me. If we're looking at TVL, quote unquote TVL, we're still at $185 million. And again, this does not account for the amount of Cardano being delegated to staking nodes. Okay, I think we're at 65, 68%. I think at the peak of the market, we were at 70 something odd percent. Okay, we haven't dropped that much. Even throughout this entire bear market, we have not dropped that much. And so another bunk narrative. It doesn't mean squat. Dominance. This is an interesting metric here. And of course, I'm using my friend Benjamin Cowan's Into the Cryptoverse. There's a link in the description below. Check it out if you want access to like thousands of freaking charts on everything you can imagine. I focus on Cardano right now. But if we're looking at Cardano's dominance right now, we're sitting at 0.963%. Okay. Not even 1 full percent of the total cryptocurrency market cap. All right. ADA's market cap's at 9.1 billion. That is substantial. That's still substantial. But let's take a look at this. Cardano's dominance back in January 1st of 2021. Okay. This was the year of the big bull run, the big parabolic run. Its dominance had dropped all the way down to 0.733%. Prior to that, it was at 0.691%. What happened over just 6 months? Pew, pew, pew. It came up to 4.63% of the total market, okay? Which means that it was starting to gain consistent dominance. And keep in mind that this was right around a time when we still didn't have anything. I think we had just launched smart contracts, for God's sakes. There still was barely anything on this blockchain, and we reached 5% dominance and a high of $3.14. We have not even dropped below this much yet. We have just barely dropped below 1% dominance so far in this market. Maybe it goes down a little bit lower. Maybe it doesn't, but it doesn't freaking matter to me. When it goes, I mean, at one point, it was all the way down here it was 0.5% in 2020. So technically speaking, we've got room to fall if we really wanted to, and that's just to get back up to all-time highs. Another bunk point. Looking at velocity. Velocity is continuing to grow. Okay, adjusted velocity of active supply, 350.9. I just ate a price. It as it moves its way down and ranges sideways with some minor ebbs and flows in the overall price action. All these metrics are just everything for the most part is just getting better. Look at this. This is wallet addresses with between 10 and 100 Cardano. Oh no, yeah, let's take this all the way back down here. Just to put that into perspective, I guess. So the number of Cardano wallets with even a little bit of ADA on them is pretty high. And if you notice, this number is not going down. It is going up. Okay. Another moot, bogus narrative. It doesn't make any sense. People, you guys are being suckered. I see guys like Dan and I see other guys out there and they're putting out this content are like, why are people leaving Cardano? Just because a few people are they're butthurt about a comment made somewhere on the interwebs. Whether it's by Charles or maybe there's a little something that, I don't know, maybe IOG does something or Emergo does something and it rubs somebody the wrong way for an afternoon and they're like, I'm done, I'm tired. Listen, we are basically at what I perceive to be close to the end of the bear market. All right. And I know that people are sensitive and we've got wars and crazy politics and all kinds of craziness going on all around us. And it's very easy for this almost capitulation type element, to hit us all in the face. And it's easy to be negative, and it's easy for people who, they see stuff said so often, but they just don't know enough. They just don't understand enough about what they put their money into, that they're easily shaken out of it for one reason or another. Let's say Charles said some political stuff you don't agree with. So what? Why should you care? Personally, if Charles were pissing me off all the time because of his political stance, I'd still be accumulating Cardano. I'd be getting rich off that asshole's work. That's the way I look at it. Why would I cut my nose off to spite my face? If I had if I had a bone to pick with Charles, well, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and profit off all of his hard work and stress. Let him work for me. That's the way I'd look at it. I don't look at things that way, but I know if I had a problem with him, that's how I'd look at it. I'd be like, you keep running your mouth, Mr. Political Man, while I'm making money off your blood, sweat, and tears. No problem. You keep barking on them AMAs. And that's just the way I'd see it. And I see a lot of people, they're like, ooh, he said something I don't like. Oh, I'm so emotional. Oh, I'm dumping my Cardano and I'm just basically counting myself out. And then I'm going to probably put all my money in some new meme token and it's going to make me rich. And ooh, F you. Like, it's silly, folks. It's just silly. Stop letting your emotions control everything you do and say. I mean, that's just really all there is to it. The numbers don't lie. The narrative that people, it's like at this point, I see people post things and I see people buying into these little sentiments, like these little narratives. And I'm just like, oh, you guys are so cute because you just really have no fucking idea what you're talking about. But like, cool, it's okay. You can have your opinion. But when you're talking about people like myself and others who have been a part of watching Cardano grow since the very, very beginning, and it's treated us very well. And it's basically, it's sealed up so many mouths over the years that have been trying to create these narratives, and Cardano always comes around the corner with a swift punch to the teeth. I mean, and it's like, and then these people shut up because they know there's not much else they can say. And now, because they can't come up with these narratives like, oh, Cardano's a ghost chain and Cardano's slow or Cardano's, I don't know, whatever the stupid things are. I don't even pay attention to the shit anymore because I can see what's happening. I know what's actually going on. I don't have to like read Twitter to see like what the narrative around Twitter or Cardano is anymore. I can just look at the numbers and I can see what's going on. You know, and if you read about the technology, if you read about Hydra, and honestly, I would like to see more information about Midnight, because I've looked and there's just not that much info just yet. But you know, that's coming. And Midnight's just a whole other element. I mean, honestly, like the stuff that people think and say really does blow my mind, because I almost feel like I should do a video where I break down Cardano's development timeline, the launch of every major protocol on the blockchain, the incremental growth of, you know, well, when this launched, and then, you know, here's where the TVL is, here's how it was related to the price, and here's the throughput, here's Hydra, here's what was expected because of the narrative that many of us believe or misunderstood. The thing of it is we got, you guys hopefully saw my video, like we got Cardano all wrong because we've been focusing on TPS, and it's not about TPS. When one transaction can mean hundreds of multiple transactions in that one transaction, TPS is another bunk point. And that's the thing that people don't get. We are trying to compare Cardano with other lesser blockchains that are less capable because they weren't designed the way Cardano was for the same reasons. A lot of these blockchains that were early and that they're, you know, basically rushed out. A lot of these blockchains, in my humble opinion, are just cash grabs for venture capital groups to build a particular narrative so they can continue rinsing and washing the market cycles over and over at other people's expense with technology that they're buying a narrative for. And for the same way, in the same way that they're buying these positive narratives around a lot of these VC controlled blockchains, they're spending the same kind of money to try and put other blockchains that are far superior down. And I'm tired of it. Honestly, I'm so burnt out on all of it. I'm burnt out on all of the bullshit news across the board on all networks. I'm tired of the bogus crypto news. I'm tired of reading articles about, you know, this blockchain or another blockchain, and like, you know, then they throw Cardano in the little end of it, you know, because, well, it should be a part of the conversation, but it's like the redheaded stepchild that we kick on our way out to the grocery store every day. Like, it's like, give me a break. Everybody knows that Cardano is vastly superior in pretty much every conceivable way. Okay. Everybody knows this. It's just that it's not as controllable because it is the most decentralized out there. It is fighting for the decentralized connectivity of people on a global level. It's not just about being a cash grab. It's about adding technology to the world that people can use for a multitude of use cases that are actually world changing. A lot of the people that are batting for these other groups, they're not all about that. They like centralized. They like controllable. They like censorable. Even Ethereum has censorship elements to it, okay? Like, we've gone through all this. And I don't have any problem with Ethereum other than its insanely high transaction fees at the height of a bull market or at extreme use, okay? There are things that we can say about every blockchain out there ad nauseum, and you just can't say those same things about Cardano. And a lot of the people with tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars in the space, it's easier for them to spend $1 million a year or even a month protecting their, you know, $100 million investments in another blockchain and all of its ancillary dApps, DeFi applications, games, and everything else. And it's easier to try and create a negative narrative around a competing blockchain than it is to just basically pull out and put their money where it's probably better off. But, you know, listen, folks, I just wanted to come out here and just speak my mind freely for a little bit. No frills, if you will. And it is what it is. And, you know, listen, I would seriously encourage anyone out there, you know, if you're letting yourself be emotionally triggered by things, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. I don't know what else to tell you. And, you know, I would encourage anybody, if you see a narrative, if you see a comment, or if you see somebody says, oh, well, Cardano is this or Cardano is that, do some digging, prove that person right. Okay. Prove them right. I would say prove them wrong, but that's too easy. Prove them right, because the more time you spend searching for information that will quantify those negative claims, the more you're going to learn about the blockchain and the more you'll be converted. Okay, that's the best advice I could give anybody out there. Somebody says something bad, go find up some documentation, some real metrics, some real numbers, and prove them right. And enjoy your search. And until then, I wish you well. Enjoy the rest of your day, crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.